everyone's seeing how like successful it is, but none of them are seeing how many times I've failed with ideas. Like without failure, it wouldn't be where it is. Like I have so many different ideas of what I want to do with it, and some of them don't work, and then you keep doing it until they work, and that's how it's grown to where it is today. Is just constantly trialing new things. Okay, that doesn't work. Where do we go from here? Let's try something different, and just finding new ways to connect people. Because that's the middle. That's the point of it, is to connect people. So it's finding new ways to do that.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the podcast and continuing the change of pace and direction. Today I'm joined by Alex Merritt, and he is the founder of TTS. I am a member of TTS, the travel squad, and it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing story and an amazing little venture, actually. So I'm really excited to pick his brain today about this. But for those of you that aren't aware of what TTS is and what they do, it's a travel group. You know, it's a network, it's a community where people can get together, go on hikes, go on weekend adventures, and also just meet like-minded people. So it's been of real value to me over the last few months. And obviously I've been speaking to Alex as well over the last couple of months, trying to get this all sorted. So Alex, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
No worries. I'm glad to be here.
So let's start with the very beginning. What was the inception of TTS like?
So the idea of where this all came from.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it actually started on TikTok, of all things. That's where the idea came from, and I've always wanted something along these lines to do with travel. My passion is travel, and I built TikToks about traveling, like all my adventures in traveling, all my montages, and they started to pick up some traction. And the biggest comment I always had on these TikToks was, I want to do all this stuff that you're doing, but I have no one else to do it with. Mm-hmm. And that was like a common theme with any TikTok I made about travel. It was always like, I want to do this, but none of my friends want to do this. All my friends are in relationships. All my friends are like not into this stuff, or they're too busy with work. And that's kind of where the idea came from. And I remember someone else made another comment saying we should get all these guys into a group, or everyone in this comment section that's saying the same thing. We should get you all into a group chat because we're all like-minded in the same situation. And I then made another TikTok saying like, this is actually a cool idea. Like, let's see if I can connect you all. Let's get you into a group chat. And I then I thought actually a Facebook group would work better, so that you can then introduce yourself and you can make your own group chat for whatever. Like obviously with travel, there's so many different routes of literally way different things you want to do. So like you can connect with each other through. It was just I need to make some sort of platform to connect these people that want to do the same thing, because they're obviously that's the problem here. That's what we're struggling with, is getting them to the right people. And so that's where I started the Facebook group. And I had I hoped it would do well, but I had no idea the gap for it, that this was like a thing needed. And I posted the Facebook group on TikTok, and over the first night, 1,000 people joined. So within 24 hours, I was bombarded with requests to join this Facebook group called the Travel Squad. Yeah. In this TikTok, because I told people that I'd get them into a group chat, destination group chats for each place. Now, when 1,000 people all join at once, yeah. All of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I've got to get all these people into the right group chats. So I basically started doing it myself. I'd make a WhatsApp chat for Australia, Thailand, just backpacking destinations. And I basically would say, message me on Instagram and I'll add you to them. Now, obviously, with there being 1,000 people, I had to pull a sickie at work, because I had to literally have like a day off for this. There was too many people coming at me. And then I was watching people connect through the group chats, and people started adding people on, like adding each other on socials, all of a sudden talking like, I want to go here, or I also want to go here. Let's what research have you done so far? Little things like that. And then I realized that, hold on, this is really working. These are all, I think, because it's like-minded people, you connect like-minded people together. This is what happens. And yeah, that's where the idea came from. The initial idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's exploded. How many followers has it got now?
Well, I made it a year ago, and I actually had the 1 year anniversary was the other day. So we're on 35,000 people have joined the main Facebook, but from there, with it being so big, we needed to make subgroups, like group chats for different places, like and each one of those will have like 3,000 to 4,000 people in them, like for different areas. And then you've got the Instagram has now got like over 11,000 followers, and there's people connecting through that. I mean, we do our best to connect as many people through that as well. So yeah, we're now 1 year in, and we're at 35,000 people all over the world as well.
Mad, isn't it? Absolutely madness. From just a little idea, like you say, when you get the right group of people together, things just that ball rolled so quick.
Exactly, yeah. And the thing, at first TikTok went very viral, and when it went around the world. So there was Australians that saw it, there was Canadians that saw it, there was Americans, because the bigger it starts off, the algorithm of TikTok, it starts off where I'm from, which is Nottingham in the UK. And then the bigger it gets is the further out it goes. So this one went very viral and went to America, Canada, Australia, and they all started getting involved. So then all of a sudden I'm making subgroups for the Travel Squad Australia, the Travel Squad Canada, and then they're all connecting and meeting up with each other. And it's quite funny, it was made in lockdown when no one could travel. So it was like, which obviously was very unexpected for it to work in a time when no one can actually travel. But I guess people were so desperate to do so because they wanted to make their plans ready for when everything does open up.
Yeah, I mean, I stumbled on it. It would have been like late July, I think it was, last year. So what's about 6 months into it?
Yeah, that's then, yeah.
Yeah, so I stumbled on it then, and like I actually had got to the point myself where I was like, I'm so fed up with, like, I love my own space, I love my own time, and I like going on my hikes and doing things with my dog. But it's also on my own, all the time. So it's like, it would be nice, like, as you said, to have a group of people, and also you just get into a routine of stuff, don't you, when it's just yourself. You go to the same places, you have the same walks. Whereas one thing that I found really, really good, besides the fact that it's a community and other people to go on these adventures with, is the fact that there's so many ideas, like, because other people are planning stuff constantly. A lot of the time, even if I don't make some of the events, I'll just look and I'll be like, that looks mint. Like, I'm going to put that down in my diary on my to-do list to like go visit there or do that. And the way that I found it was, I actually got to the point where I was like, I'm so done with doing it on my own. I was like, I'd love more outdoorsy friends. And I put on Facebook, on my estate group, because I was like, I know there's some people on this estate that like it. And I was like, oh, I'm going to set one up. And then one of the admins for the West Mids group lives on my estate, and I had no idea. So she was like, damn, there's already one set up. So I like literally stumbled into it and was like, this is incredible. I was like, I don't have to do anything. I was like, I'll just rock up now. So
yeah, that's what you just said there about you enjoyed your own space and doing it on your own, but then you got sick of you wanted to do it with other people. Now I actually had an experience that was to do with another reason why I made this. Is I went traveling when I was 20, and I went with my best friend Josh. Now he's actually one of the founders with me working on this. Now we went around Europe, and halfway through Josh got Crohn's disease and got really ill and had to fly home. Now I was having the best, me and him were having like two best friends traveling, just to like, we were loving what we were doing, and then obviously gutted that he's got to go home. Now I had to make the decision, do I go with him or do I carry on my own? Now at the time I didn't know when I'd next go traveling, so like I didn't want to cut it short, so I went off on my own. Now as much as I still enjoyed seeing everything on my own, I just couldn't help but think, I wish my friends was with me to experience this. And a lot of people do preach the like solo traveling is so good for your mind and soul, and you learn so much from it, and I do appreciate that. But for me personally, I just wanted everyone else to see it with me. Like I'm not gonna lie, I felt a little bit lonely, and I just thought this would be 10 times better enjoying it with someone. And then I found myself sending videos and pictures of it all to my friends, and it's like I've gone around there to send it to my friends, and I should be just like I was like, you guys should be here doing this with me. And for me, having a travel squad is like, it's your dream. Like, well, for me, it's like my dream, doing it with your best friends. And that's luckily, that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So I'm currently in Thailand using the travel squad to build friendship groups, and I'm out here traveling with groups of friends. And that is like having the both experience. Personally, my opinion is 10 times better doing it with a group of people than it was when I was in Europe on my own. So it's very much a similar idea, the same as what you had, where you would just think, I want to do this with other people now.
Yeah, you can't beat it. Like I'm such a social butterfly. Like I love having conversations. I love meeting new people. I like, just creating relationships. So for me, you can't beat it. Like, yes, you've got to be able to be happy with your own space. And, like you said, traveling on your own. Yeah, there's so much that you can learn about yourself, but doing it with people, doing it with your best friends, like you say, what an ambition.
You have, yeah, exactly. And that is very much the motivation behind it as well.
Yeah. So obviously now a year in, it started off very much, you were like, obviously the first day you said there was 1,000 people. What's the back end look like? How has it changed over that from day one to 1 year in?
But it was very much trial and error. It was very much like, when I first created this, it was to help connect people, become friends. And obviously I have hundreds of ideas I'm quite a creative person. I have hundreds of ideas in my head on where this can go and what this can do. And there's so many avenues it can go down. So along the way, there's been constant trial and error. There's been everyone's seeing how like successful it is, but none of them are seeing how many times I've failed with ideas. Like there's without failure, it wouldn't be where it is. Like it wouldn't have all the different. I have so many different ideas of what I want to do with it, and some of them work, but some of them don't work. And then you keep doing it until they work, and that's how it's grown to where it is today. Is just constantly trialing new things. Okay, that doesn't work. Where do we go from here? Let's try something different. And just finding new ways to connect people, because that's the middle, that's the point of it, is to connect people. So it's finding new ways to do that. But to answer your question, getting to a year in, we are so we have to think about what I'm going to say to this one. So we've just had our year anniversary, and so we've gone from making a couple of group chats to now thousands of people meeting up, thousands of people meeting and getting together, doing different things. And it's now gone from travel to just connecting people. Like it's not just people travel, it's like everything. You see like people meeting up to go to like ball pit type like adult play zones and things like that. Just absolutely anything to find like a new friend. So like it's not just travel related. But one of my goals from the start, with being such a travel enthusiast, is I wanted to help people see the world as well. And that is what I'm leading into now. Is okay, phase one was connecting everyone. The first question everyone said was, I need friends to do this with. So I've answered that one with trying to connect everyone. And the second one is I want to help them see the world. So that's now where we're working on basically tours for the travel squad when it comes to travel, like seeing the world. And that's something I'm working my ass off on right now. Like I'm out in Thailand, out doing the traveling to put this all together so that I can create itineraries in travel packages for everyone to like go and do. Now you've got your friends, now you need to go traveling. Now there's plenty of experienced travelers in the travel squad that will go and do that are already got it all set up and ready, but there's plenty in there that don't know a huge amount about travel and want to get into it. And this is like the perfect way. If you don't know a huge amount about travel, it's like like an icebreaker for you. Like you can do this itinerary the first 3 weeks, and then you carry on. You've learned as much as I've like taught you with as I can, and then you carry on from there. And yeah, that's like the goal I'm going with now. Is definitely that's the route I'm going down. Is definitely helping people travel now, helping people see the world as well after helping them meet friends.
Yeah, I think it's awesome, because it is going to be a moment where, like I said, and you've just said, if there is people that know where to go, who to see, what to do, obviously they're still going to benefit from it, because there's so many people that go on gap years or even just travel that kind of go on their own, and then they have to meet people when they get to the hostels, Airbnbs, hotels, like whatever accommodation style they're choosing. And I think there's something that just works really well about before you go. you have a WhatsApp group, you're set up, you meet everyone, you break the ice, and then you've already built that relationship. Like, you're already really good friends by the time you're in Thailand, or you're in Bali, or Malaysia, or any of the other islands over there, or anywhere across the world.
Yeah, it can be so daunting to go traveling on your own, not knowing who's going to be there, who you're going to meet, and having to like look for friends. But like, for example, I'm out in Thailand, so I created a Thailand group chat, posted it in the travel squad. I think about 400 people joined it and started talking through it. And now, as I'm out in Thailand, I'm constantly seeing like, oh, I'm in PP. Is anybody here? And then someone will say, oh, I'm going to be there in 2 weeks, and then they swap socials, what's your Instagram, talk on socials, and all of a sudden they're building that relationship online first, so that they're talking first. And that I'd advise people to do that, because obviously if you don't want to just randomly meet someone you've never spoke to before, but having like that chat before you go it seems to be working like in Thailand now, and there's no reason why it can't work anywhere you go. Like, the bigger we get, and that's the goal, is you will literally, obviously it's first year, we've hit the ground running, but we've got so far to go, because I want this happening all over the world. I want you to be able to go somewhere and post in the travel squad for that area what other TTS members are around here, and it'll be someone with the same mindset as you in the same area wants to come and meet up, and you've literally got someone to do this with, and you've built a new connection and a new friend. And that, if you're talking about like long-term goals, I'd love for it to, it's very much UK based at the moment, but it was made for travel, so I want you to be able to do that everywhere.
That's awesome. So let's talk about your current traveling. Like, what's your schedule look like? How do you manage to balance travel squad and your own traveling?
Okay, so I've been saving up. This travel I'm doing right now is something I've been planning for years. Like, it's been my dream to do Southeast Asia, and then one day hopefully end up in Australia. And I've been planning this for a while, long before I made the travel squad. So I've done so much research on this. I kind of knew everywhere, where to go, best things to do before I even came out. I end up meeting the friends I'm going with through the travel squad. So I'm with a videographer at the moment called Tom Webster. He actually messaged the travel squad, and we connected through there, and he's helping me with the promo. So we are traveling together, and it's very much because the time difference is 7 hours ahead here. I'm kind of like working night shift mode, because with everyone waking up later in the UK. So I basically do my adventuring in the morning. So I wake up, my daily schedule would be waking up at like 8-9 o'clock, heading out for, just as it's still cooler, so going and do boat trips, trying to get travel squad content, trying to like enjoy my travels. I'll have like some sort of siesta in the afternoon, like I'll have a nap, because I know that I'm going to be up late, because there's a lot of people in the UK as well. No one's working full time on the travel squad. Like, no one can afford to do that, and we're not making any money from it, so we can't afford to pay anyone. So everyone I'm working with through the travel squad, I can't speak to them until they finish at 5 o'clock in the UK, which is like pretty much midnight here. Is 5 o'clock is coming up to midnight around here. So my actual schedule is wake up in the morning, do my traveling, have a siesta, and then late at night is when I'm doing all my work calls, all the different projects that we're working on through the travel squad, the welfare team, working with all the different admins, making sure that events are safe. Like, the safety is the biggest thing I have to work on in the travel squad. It is keeping on top of that and making sure that it works like efficiently, and it's not like, that's one of my main concerns. So that is something I work on the most. But pretty much at the end of the day, I'll be finishing at like 2-3 in the morning. I'll get like 6 hours sleep, and then I'm obviously, because I'm out here to get content, that's like my job out here, is to like build these visions for these tours and show people what they can do if they go traveling. So I've got to be up for sunrise, try and get the right stuff. So yeah, that's my daily routine at the moment.
Brutal. When I was in India, I went to India for like 14 months, and I was running an online business, and I had the same problem. Like, it was a nightmare. Like, so I think it was 6 hours in India, obviously 7 hours where you are in Thailand. And it was like, I couldn't, it was so demanding, because I was working and doing bits and bobs in the day, India time. And then, like, if I wanted to get any work done, UK stuff, it was like 11 o'clock onwards. It was
Yeah, the time difference is so frustrating, especially when the people I'm working with aren't waking up till like later in the day, and I'm usually busy at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, it
But
makes
I
a massive difference.
massively believe in like what we're working on. So like the hard work I'm hoping is going to pay off
Mm.
for a lot. I think something I always tell myself constantly is when I'm having a bad day with it, I'm struggling with it, is like obviously it's going to be worth it in the long run. It's helping people. Like that's what you got to think about. Is what I'm so passionate about it. Like I'm crazy passionate about it working. So I don't mind staying up an extra few hours, and I love what I'm doing. Like I'm enjoying it as well. So like it's almost like it's not as much of a chore. Like it's not like I'm enjoying what I'm doing and I love what I'm doing, and I know it's going to help a lot of people. So like I don't mind staying up that extra hour and putting in the work for it, because it's it's going to help out.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's an interesting point actually, and something that I wanted to talk to you about. With the business that you set up, it's kind of one of those. I had a conversation with someone yesterday where the mindset really became clear to me that our age group and our kind of generation, we're so exposed to like the world's opportunities because of social media. Like almost anything, like the world, without sounding too cliche, the world is our oyster. Like
No,
literally, you can do anything.
yeah.
And I believe that. Like I genuinely believe that when it comes down to, if you've got the right motivation, right driving force, you get the right team behind you, you can achieve anything, because the opportunities that social media present. I mean, the Travel Squad is a perfect example of that. You know, it went from your idea, the demand from people, all of a sudden now 35,000 people are like getting involved. And then,
Yeah,
yeah, it's just mad. What would you say to people who kind of don't have the same kind of belief system, or they don't think that that sort of thing is possible, like following their dreams or ambitions?
the social media is, I mean, I have such a love-hate relationship with social media. Like I would not be in the position I am today without social media. But at the same time, obviously social media can be very misleading. But when it comes to learning, improving yourself, is you literally have a phone in your pocket that you can literally Google. You can just click on your phone, you can Google anything. And majority of the time you've got an answer on right in front of you, which you've never ever had before. So if there is anything to do with the Travel Squad where I think I don't really know about that, honestly, it's crazy how Google and YouTube, how much you can learn in minutes from anything I need to know is in literally in your hand. So like definitely when it, like, obviously people have not had that opportunity before. When it comes to when I've come into this, it's a very overwhelming, nothing I've ever done before. But like you've just said, like the world is your oyster. You can learn anything on social media. Like you can learn anything from your phone and Google. So yeah, it has been a massive help for me.
Yeah, and for me, I love YouTube. Like YouTube is my go-to resource. Like
It's
honestly,
bridge.
yeah. The amount of times I'll, even now, like if I'm not 100% certain on something, or if I want to learn something, I'll just straight to YouTube.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and you just figure it out. And I think that it depends on what you're interested in. Like I use YouTube for all sorts, like investing,
Mm.
you know, lots of stuff like crypto, silver, gold, stocks, shares, business, marketing, motivation. Like it's just an unlimited resource, really. Obviously, you've got to be careful because some people, anyone can post on it, which so it's a double-edged
Mm.
sword. But yeah, if
I
you
feel
get,
like sorry.
no, go for it.
I feel like when it comes to like my development over time, is I'm also very blessed to have a massive community that is wanting to help me. They all believe in what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's something that so say when it comes to legal opportunities, like can be legal problems with whenever creating a business. This is something that I didn't really know. There is someone within the Travel Squad that I can speak to that has that expertise when it comes to legal advice. Or if there's some sort of graphic design that I would never be able to do, where you, like you say, with YouTube or Google it, there's actually a graphic designer within my community that a lot of the time they love what I'm trying to build and they love the passion, the idea behind it. They are more than happy to give their 2 pence piece and teach me something along them lines and guide me in the right direction. And it's with absolutely everything. So you got events going on. I don't know how to run events, but there are so many events managers that are Travel Squad members and really want to get involved. So then I speak to them about helping them. Like, it'd be much better if they can go host an event more than I can. Mm-hmm. And that's just an example. There's so many opportunities within this community. So obviously my first go-to would be Google, YouTube and everything, but there is always someone that can help me. Like when it comes to developing, like I love to be, never want to be the smartest person in the room. Like you can't be the smartest person in the room. And if I'd like to surround myself with people that can help me develop in different areas, like because it's got so many avenues it can go down. I kind of need to be on the ball in so many different sectors. So I need to, and there's no way that I could just know all these things. So someone needs to teach me. And I've been absolutely blessed with a community that I want to help me with that.
Yeah, I think that's, I've seen it. It is a community. And I think that's probably the biggest achievement, I think, I would say, because you've built something that it is so close, but also so big, you know, like when things grow big, sometimes you can lose control and it kind of loses the fundamentals. But like even over the last year, like that I've been involved, the last 6 months, I should say, sorry. The more people that have got involved, the more events that there's been, the more community that it's just built and built. And even within the West Mids, like when I joined, there was like 500 people in the West Mids subgroup. There's like 2,500 in it now. And obviously they're all hosting little events. And like you say, it's developed from, all right, let's go on a hike for a sunset walk to, you know, now people are going to ball pool parks and drinks and quizzes, and it's cool. It's like the way that I liken it is almost like a student union type thing. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, everyone has that positive mindset. And some of the stories I've heard from it, like especially as I've just posted the year anniversary, I was bombarded with messages into my personal DMs of little stories of how they've made friends, on how this has changed their lives, or this is new, and they're appreciating like what we've done. So I'm actually going to start soon a TTS stories little blog on like that kind of showcases these little stories, because I just couldn't help but think like these are all coming into my DMs, but I want everyone to see that. It's like these stories are incredible.
Yeah.
For example, I met a girl in Thailand. She was in the same hostel as me. She said she was a TTS member, and we spoke for a little bit. And it turns out her whole friendship group that she's traveling with now, there's 5 of them, all met through the Travel Squad. They never knew each other before, and now they're traveling for 6 months together, all best friends, and they all met through the Facebook group. And like just little things like that there's so many stories within it that I don't even know about. Like I don't even know that they've happened. But that's why I'm going to start this little story blog to try and showcase as many of these amazing stories as I can.
Yeah, I think that is going to be, and that must have been a moment where you were like, oh yeah.
Like this is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I think that's cool. In terms of what's next for you, not necessarily Travel Squad, like what are you doing with your traveling, or what's next for Alex?
So for me personally, I know you say it's like not for the Travel Squad, but the Travel Squad is literally my baby. When I say that my life is the Travel Squad, like the reason it's like doing so well, it's got so far, is because it generally has become my life. So the Travel Squad, my traveling myself will depend on the Travel Squad, like where I'm taking it and stuff. So I'm praying, my dream is to earn enough money to keep traveling, which is my absolute dream. So I've got to keep working on this and developing this so that I don't need to be some big successful millionaire. Success for me is doing what I want to do, which is traveling. Like it sounds so cliche, but my success is how happy I am. And I'll be so happy if I can carry on doing what I'm doing right now, because right now, this minute, I'm traveling in Southeast Asia and I am comfortable enough to keep going. And that's my absolute dream. So I've got to keep working on this to keep going. So my actual answer to that is I don't know where I'm going to be in another 6 months. Like I am genuinely winging my life completely. Like I quit my job for the Travel Squad. I quit my job to go like pretty much chase the dream. Mm-hmm. So I have a rough idea of where I'd like to go and what I'd like to do, but it's very dependent on how successful all this is and whether it works, because obviously it might not work as much as I hope, as much as I'm working as hard on it. It can be out of my control with COVID, especially. And I might have to go home and start again. But my future plans are to hopefully keep doing what I'm doing right now, keep traveling, keep moving around the world. Don't want to come back to the UK, if I'm honest. Like I'm happy.
Do you know what? Whilst I've been on this call, outside it's been absolutely hammering it down with rain. I've just like literally been sat here thinking, nah. Like,
yeah, I was FaceTiming my dad the other day, and you guys have just had like 3 crazy storms like hitting you, haven't you? Like it's been absolutely. He was showing me out the window like the wind, like how crazy it is, and I'd like turn the FaceTime around, and I'm on the beach in Thailand, like absolutely hated me. But and all these work calls I'm doing, all these calls, travel squad, so like with the welfare team, admins, events teams, like all these different people I'm doing calls with. Every single time I would like when I was in the villa, I'd be like in a pool, like trying to flex, like just showing it off that I'm out here living the dream. But at the same time, for a whole year, I was stuck in my bedroom in the UK, absolutely hating it, just desperate to leave. I think a lot of people don't know is obviously with the travel squad, people say like, what do you do for work and stuff? Because I'm not making any income from this. Because I worked at JCB for 3 years, and I absolutely hated I could not stand it. It was not what I wanted to do. Like 12-hour shifts, like really hard work on diggers and stuff. And that was when the travel squad took off, and I took that risk of, I quit my job, I sold my car, I sold my flat, I risked everything because I believe in in what I'm doing. I believe that this can work. So yeah, to make money from this, to just carry on doing what I want to do, is because I just don't want to have to go back to that lifestyle of not, hating what I'm doing. So yeah, that's my main motivation right now.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I didn't know that about you. Like, I didn't know that you were at JCB. What's the Sorry, mate. What did you going to say?
I was at JCB. I was on an apprenticeship for 3 years, and I was there for a year on like an awful apprenticeship salary, and because of COVID, they kept extending it. So I was on really small amounts of money, doing something I absolutely hated. And when I decided that the travel squad was what I wanted to do, obviously I had absolutely no money whatsoever. Like I was on apprenticeship wage. So, and I had a flat at the time and a nice car, and I sold my flat, I sold my car, literally, my grandma thought I was going crazy. Like she had got this opportunity at a really nice job. They're just about to offer me a nice salary. And I was just like, no, like, it's just not what I want to do. So I've got to start again, pretty much start from scratch. And I think a lot of people, don't know that with the travel squad is I'm not making any money from it now, but I have literally got rid of everything. Like I've risked it. Like I know that one day, because I'm passionate about it, it's going to work at some point. So yeah, that's that.
Yeah, that is awesome. What would you say to people that, are worried about taking that step for something like following their dream, their passion?
Oh, I mean, honestly, just do it. Like for me, it was very much, I go by the saying of like, if you shoot for the stars, you'll at least land on the moon. So like if I go for something like with the travel squad, if I really aim high, like go for that dream, I'd at least land. If you say shooting for the stars, at least land on the moon. If I go for this big, like making the travel squad work, I'd at least have a job that I like, whether it's making me a lot of money or not. I'll at least be doing something that I'm happy with, and that is 10 times more important than any money, any salary. And like doing what you love and being happy, that's the end game for me. And so for anyone that is wanting to like is worrying about, you just got to, I genuinely believe that you just have to do what makes you happy. Otherwise, what are you doing it for? Like, why are you working in a job that you have no passion for? I don't see the point in it. So yeah.
I totally agree, mate. Like I was lucky actually. My uncle was like, he was really high up within banking just before everything crashed. And I remember like I was speaking to him, and obviously like with the way that the UK society is, it's like, money, chasing it, like capitalist. And I was just like, I remember I was kind of at that stage in my life where I was 18 and I was about to go off to uni, and I wasn't 100% sure on it, but they kind of said to you, like, if you want a good job, you go to college, then uni, and the stereotypical route. And then I remember he took like voluntary redundancy, and he ended up like taking a job that was for a charity, and ended up working for like, I don't know how much less, like 50% less. Like it was a crazy pay cut. but like he was happy. And like that was
Yeah.
the first time in my life that I'd ever come across someone that was like not just chasing for more and more money or like a better position. And I think there's so much to be said by just taking a step back and looking and going, what do we actually want as people? And I think that's okay. Like that's an individual thing. So like if that is you and you want more money and it is going to genuinely make you feel happy, then fine. But I think a lot of people following what they actually want to do is going to be so much more rewarding than just, fuck it, I'll get a good job and, you know.
Yeah. As I'm growing up, I'm becoming less and less materialistic. And I was going to this job at JCB where I purely was chasing the money. Like I knew an engineering job will bring me good money, and I had no passion for it. I don't care about diggers. I don't care about building diggers. Like it's not my passion, but I know that that's going to make me. Are offering me a good contract at the end of it, and I know it's going to make me money. And I would go back. I had a nice car, drive back in my nice car, go to my nice flat. That was a pretty good flat. And I'd just sit there on my laptop looking at where I want to travel. So like there was no point in this nice big flat. There was no point in any of that, because that wasn't what made me happy. It was I was becoming less and less materialistic. I didn't care about all these materialistic things I had. I just wanted to go see the world. And that's kind of when it clicked. And I remember seeing something that said that it's quite funny. My contract for JCB, they offered me about 27,000 grand a year to start. And I remember seeing a top that said, how much did they offer you to quit? How much money did they give you to give up on your dreams? And the guy in the video said 27,000. And I was like, they're offering me this contract, 27,000. And my grandparents are like, this is so good. This is great. And I'm thinking, they're offering me this money to give up on what I actually want to do. So like that, as soon as that clicked with me, I was like, no, this is not what I want. This is not where I want to see where my life is going to go. I'm going to be stuck here. So I got rid of all these materialistic things and I focused on what I actually want. And now a year later, I'm actually chasing that. I'm definitely not living that dream, but I'm chasing it, and I'm getting closer and closer to it. So
yeah, it's a journey. And that's the thing. I think the most important thing is it's getting there. You can see it. It is rolling in the right direction. So I'm really excited to see what happens over the next year, mate, because I think that's going to be.
I'm crazy excited about what's going to happen. You think about what we've done in a year. Think of 5 years time. Of like how it's. I mean, we raised £10,000 for charity in the first year, and that's a huge focus for me with the travel squad. Is charity. Especially, I remember when you started a charity event through the travel squad, and that's what I want to keep pushing that, because that if it's used for good things like that, like a huge one for me is the MS Society. I wanted to raise money for the MS Society, and there was a group in the travel squad that these were strangers when I first made it, and they were climbing Snowdon, and they messaged me saying like, is there any certain charities you want us to raise money for? And I said the MS Society, and this random group of people that I have never met before in my life raised £2,000 for the MS Society, and I was just blown away by it. And ever since then, I thought this platform can be used for such good things. And ever since that first year, we've raised £10,000 for charity. Think about what we can do. That's with. I mean, we had 10,000 members in like 2 months, and then it gradually grew. Imagine when we've got 50,000 members and they're all charity focused. Like, imagine how many people we can help. Like, there's no limit. That's the motivation. Like, that's what keeps me going with it. Is the bigger this gets, the more it can help people.
I heard a good quote actually, and I might be butchering it, so I'm sorry if I do, but I think it was something along the lines of most people underestimate what they can do. Or sorry, most people can overestimate what they can do in a year, but underestimate what they can do in 10. And I think that's something that I live by massively, because you always want everything right now, but then when you're chipping away, 10 years is a fucking long time, and you can get so much achieved in that time.
Oh, do so much. Even in less than that, in like 5 years, you can do so much time. Someone the other day on a call I was having, we was worried about one of the projects is only like a month away, and I remember them saying, oh, like we've only got a month, and I just remember turning it around and him saying, no, like we've got a month is a long time. If you utilize that properly, there's so much you can do in a month. Like, think of how many hours in the day that is if you utilize it properly. Like, don't think about we've only got a month. Think, right, we have a whole month right now to do this. So time, I agree on that.
Alex, mate, thank you so much for coming on. I think we definitely need to touch base. I'm so excited to see what you're doing. I'm excited to see what the travel squad does. Yeah, thank you for your time, mate.
No, I'm more than happy that I can jump on whenever you want. I can talk about this all day.
Yeah, mate, me too. I'm a chatter. So thing is, if I'm not aware of things, otherwise we'll end up talking for like 2 hours, and people on the podcast will be like, I fell asleep about an hour in.
Yeah, no, I could chew you off all day when it comes to the travel squad.
Yeah. All right, mate. Thank you so much for coming on, and we'll definitely touch base again soon.
Yes, definitely. We'll have a catch up in another year, see where we are.
Yeah, man. That'll be good.